Buongiorno a tutti.
Buongiorno.
Good morning. I would like first to thank legal community and thank you all attendees for giving me the chance actually to be here and give you some insights about my regional experience in both Middle East and Africa. I will keep it short as much as I can, right? And I wish that this is an interactive session, but I knew that there will be a question and answers afterwards, right? So if anyone having any questions, please get back to me at any time, right? I'll speak today about four main pillars, right? The first one is my own experience with various employers when it comes to regional applying with these employers. The second thing would be why our multinationals are using the regional model for running their businesses. The third pillar would be the difference between Middle East and Africa as to be different regions, not as many people say Middle East and Africa is one region. I would like to say that they are two regions. I'll give you some implications of why they should be separated, right? The fourth point, which is simply my views about what do we want from Italy particularly to support multinationals to be the hub point for these regions, okay? So I'll start with the first one. I now work for Sandoz. It's a pharmaceutical company, 100% owned by Novartis, the Swiss pharmaceutical. The head office in Germany. But let me take you through the regional structure of Sandoz. Sandoz the head offices are based in Germany, as I told you. And we have North America, South America regions, Central and East Europe, West Europe, and then Africa and Asia Pac, right? And within these regions, there are clusters. So, for example, I am in Africa region, but we have three clusters. We have Algeria, Egypt, and South Africa. Sometimes Middle Africa as well, but we can say that's real cluster, right? Back in PepsiCo, it was quite different. Again, the two Americans are two sectors, and then Europe with Russia, another sector, and Asia Pac, Middle East and Africa is another, which is half the world approximately, is the fourth sector, right? And within these sectors, there are regions as well. I joined PepsiCo in Dubai office, the regional office for Middle East and Africa, taking over the compliance function within the legal department and viewing and monitoring approximately 54 countries. But after 1 year, the corporate decided to take North Africa and Middle East as one region. So it came Middle East and North Africa, MENA region. And the rest of Africa was taken back to Europe again. For all the reasons that you can think of, cultural reasons, for language, for talents which are already coming from Africa to Europe and the other way around. Large number of the countries that I've been supervising and viewing has been taken off to Europe at that time. Similarly, the same thing happened with Sandoz as well. 2 months before joining, it used to be Middle East and Africa. However, the company decided to take Africa off and become one independent region, and the Middle East stayed as is. And we started in Egypt, not reporting to Dubai office anymore. We started to report to Germany office where the CEMEA people are there, right? So with these structures, which are to a certain point similar to each other, I'm getting into the second point, which is why multinational companies are using hub and regions as their model. They should. Someone will say, I always told myself, why the head office is not monitoring in each country without having the use of these regional offices. It's creating layers and layers of management that needless to be there, right? This is what I've been telling myself. However, I think the very indirect reason of having regions and hubs is for better controls to these countries, for better monitoring, for better supervising, for assigning responsibility as well, right? The corporate office will not be able to control every in each country individually. Having a region under it, number of countries, will make it more control for the corporate office to monitor and supervise this region instead of managing number of countries, right? The other point is obviously for cost efficiency and decreasing the efforts of the teams. Imagine teams are coming from the US every now and then to Pakistan, to China, to Egypt, to all around the globe to monitor again and supervise to control the business. Cost efficiency is one of the most important reasons as well. I believe that the third reason for multinationals to use this model is again the pool of talent, right? Pool of talents, by having regions and hubs, the multinationals will have the chance to create talents either coming from their head offices to these regions, to be close to the business, to understand every and each country individually, and the other way around. You can get talents from these regions itself, who can learn the culture, who can learn the strategies of the company, and then vice versa, they can get back to the corporate office and support the business itself. So I believe that regions and hubs are very important for every and each multinational, right? Now, the difference between Middle East and Africa. It was obvious from what I've just explained to you about what happened in Sandoz and PepsiCo that it seems like multinationals are looking into Middle East as a totally different region to Africa, right? And this is for very obvious, again, reasons. The culture is quite different. Location-wise and logistically, it's, again, quite different. And truly, the competition in Middle East for hub points, countries, regional countries that can be used as the regional offices is quite high. If you all know the Gulf area, and I was lucky enough to spend some years in Dubai and some other years in Qatar, in Gulf area, these countries are taxation-free countries, right? So they do not take any taxes from multinationals. They do not take any taxes from employees for whatever income, right? They have an extremely robust legislation to as an incentive to investment and foreign investment, right? The whole atmosphere is very much encouraging to businesses. That's why I find Middle East is it's going to be quite tough competition for Italy to compete in the Middle East, but the other way around in Africa. I think it's a way much better in Africa due to all the reasons Stefano just mentioned in his presentation, the culture reasons, the pool of talents that coming from here to there, the closeness and the logistics-wise. I came from Alexandria, which is on the north coast of Egypt, so I'm a Mediterranean myself, so I know how close the culture it is to each other. So I would say that Italy will have better chances in Africa than Middle East, at least at the moment, because I remember, I'm saying this because I recall a couple of years back, I was in a conference in Chicago, and the topic was, is Dubai really the best hub point for multinationals? It's becoming very much expensive now. It's become one employee to be relocated to Dubai can cost the company 150,000 euros or maybe more, right? So there will be chances for Middle East in the future, I'm sure. Right. The last point is, what do we need from Italy? Or again, this is my own conception and my viewpoint. What do we need from Italy in order to be there, to exist in this region? I believe that, again, I'm quoting from Stefano's presentation, which really crossing my mind of what I've already prepared. The culture interaction is very important. Education, universities, and internship between Italy and these countries is very important as well. I think that law firms and financial firms that are really opening in Africa region recently need to be more. We need more and more of these happening and taking place all around the region. And the other thing is for these law firms, for these financial firms, to really encourage and advise their clients, the business, that these markets are safe, these markets are potential, these markets are the largest population, and there is potential in these markets, so let's invest in those markets.